Hello folks and welcome to a video I probably should have made about a week ago when I started releasing weird, different non-football manager videos here on the channel. We're doing a little bit of a channel update. I just want to let you know what's going on, what we're going to be doing with the channel over the coming weeks and months, what my thoughts are on streaming at the moment, and just a general little channel update. I seem really far away. Hold on, let's do the Casey Neistat style zoom in. There you go, he does it much more effectively than I do. But yeah, channel update. As you'll know, from when Non-League to Legend ended, probably about a month or so now, we've had massively reduced Football Manager content here on the channel. We're still doing Back in the Borough Monday to Friday. And before I get any further, I want to say Back in the Borough is not going anywhere. Football Manager is not going anywhere. If you're panicking or worried about that, Back in the Borough, I am in that until the end. I'm loving that save. I'm enjoying that save more than any Football Manager save I've ever played before. But that in itself is causing a bit of a problem for me, because there have been a couple of times now where I've tried to start a new Football Manager YouTube save, and I even recorded the first video for one of them, and I just can't get into it because it's not Back in the Borough. I'm just not enjoying it. And anyone who watches my Twitch streams will know that since Non-League to Legend ended, I've tried three if you count the one we did on Thursday night, 3 different stream series, and I'm struggling to get into them. We used Club Bruges for a season, I didn't really get into it. We used Kings Lynn in the Non-League to Legend universe, the Non-League to Legend save with Arsenal. We retired and became Kings Lynn, and people were struggling to get into that. And I tried Juventus last night, and I couldn't even get to the first game because I just wasn't feeling it. And I think I might be, aside from Back in the Borough, a little football managered out. I've kind of been playing it every single day. I mean, I always played it a lot, but I've played it every single day since I started this YouTube channel 2.5 years ago. And Back in the Borough is great. Everything else is starting to feel like a little bit of a chore. So I'm giving it a rest for a little while. Again, to clarify, Back in the Borough is not going anywhere. That's still going to be out Monday to Friday every week until we win the Champions League. If we win the Champions League in a month's time, and we have 4 months left before FM19 comes out, then I'll probably have to come up with a new save just to keep some Football Manager content on the channel. But those of you who are following that series, no, that's probably not likely to happen. And the worry is probably more, am I actually going to finish Back in the Borough before FM19, because I'm so rubbish at it. But that's part of what's making it so much fun. It's the most challenging save I've ever done. So if I'm only going to be doing 5 Football Manager videos a week, that leaves me in a conundrum, because as you'll know, I went full time on YouTube back in September, and it does pay my bills now. So I can't really go from doing 10 or 12 videos a week to 5 and not streaming, because I won't be able to pay the bills. So, being the mercenary that I am, I'm flailing around a little bit, trying to find something else that catches both my interest and your interest. Again, most of you will know that for the last 6 or 7 years now, I've hosted a gaming podcast. I'm not just a Football Manager nerd, I am a massive gamer. I love loads of different types of games. And one of the things that doing this YouTube channel has done has meant I've played a lot less other games over the last couple of years, because I've spent so much more of my time playing Football Manager. And I think what I want to do is get back into some other games, and you've started to see some of those start to appear on the channel over the last few weeks. We had the Detroit playthrough, which I really loved. That was such a cool game, but there doesn't seem to be anything else like that out there. We've started doing This Grand Life, which is going to be back with a new series probably next week. We had a look at Train Station Simulator, which I'm going to be starting a series on because I really enjoyed that. I actually ended up streaming that on Twitch for an hour the other night, and I just really enjoyed it. We've also started the God of War series. We've done West of Loathing, and I'm enjoying all of these games, but I can see that they're not really getting, certainly God of War and West of Loathing aren't really getting any views, because they're very different games from the type of games that we typically have on the channel. Now, the way I'm planning this in my head at the moment is I'm not going to stop doing content like that. and I'm training myself to not worry about the views. Kev, don't worry about the views too much. As long as you put enough content out, it doesn't matter if no one's watching some of it. But I do obviously need to find that balance between making sure that I can pay the bills, making sure that I'm enjoying myself, making sure that you're enjoying what I'm doing, both here on YouTube and on Twitch. So this is where I want some interaction and some feedback from you guys. Let's find some games that we'll all love. So stuff that I'll enjoy playing, that you'll enjoy watching me play, and both here on YouTube and over on Twitch. And we'll do that for a little while. I'm just looking at the Steam sale, which is on at the moment, and I've got a few bits downloading right now, which are typical games that Kev of the past, pre-YouTube Kev, would be all over games like this, but I never really got the chance to play properly. Fallout 4 is one that we've tried playing on the channel before. It didn't really go very well. I think it's time I played through that game. I loved Fallout 3, I loved Fallout New Vegas. I've started Fallout 4 3 times now and not got more than about 5 or 6 hours in. I've got the Game of the Year edition downloading on Steam now. At some point I am going to start a proper Fallout 4 series, and I'm going to play it properly and just commit to doing it. And I'd like to be able to do some Fallout 76 content when that comes out. So I really need to play through Fallout 4 first. Because until Fallout 4, I loved Fallout. I was a massive Fallout fan. And I think just because I never really had the time to commit to Fallout 4 properly, it was only ever something I could do for a couple of hours a week around all the Football Manager stuff. It was never something I could really dive into, whereas now with that little bit of extra time through doing less Football Manager stuff, I could dive into it a little bit more. So that could become something we do on Twitch. It could be a long-term series we make here on the channel. Really depends on whether you guys want to see it. When I did that poll on the community page last week, it seemed like you were keen, but it would involve starting again, not carrying on from where I got to like a year and a half ago when I tried, because that was on the Xbox and I don't want to have to mess around with the Elgato to do it. I just want to be able to turn my PC on and record. So it will be starting again on the PC and we'll see how we get on. Other games that I've got downloading, Democracy 3 is something I've had for years. I've played a little bit. I've toyed with putting it on the channel before. I think I'm going to do some stuff around there. Prison Architect goes into the same category. It's a game I've had for years. I want to do something on. I'm conscious that these are quite old games. If these are things that they're kind of, we're over that now, Kev, we don't want to watch that, then let me know down in the comments. I've got Civilization 6 downloading and the Ryzen 4 expansion pack for that. I loved Civilization 4, I loved Civilization 5. I didn't even own Civilization 6 until today because I just haven't had time to play it. But in the past, Civilization is the only game, alongside Football Manager, the only two games that I've ever accidentally stayed up all night playing, where I've just been sat there still playing Civilization and noticed the sun's come up. So I can properly get into Civilization, but it's not something I've ever even thought about putting on the channel, but maybe now's the time to give it a little bit of a try. I've got the Skyrim Special Edition downloading. I've played Skyrim all the way through. When it first came out, loved it. It's probably my favourite game of all time. But I've never played the Special Edition and I've never played the DLC. So maybe I could do a slightly different kind of Skyrim playthrough that incorporates the Special Edition so it looks nice and shiny and pretty. Maybe throw a few mods in, maybe just do the DLC. If Skyrim's something that you'd want to see, I know again it's a very, very old game, but if you'd want to see it on the channel, let me know. And then lastly, I've got Frostpunk downloading, which I don't know a lot about, other than the fact that it's supposed to be like a really, really cool moral choice management kind of game from the people who made This War of Mine, which I loved. And it's basically set in a world where the entire world is frozen and everyone's dead or dying, and you need to build the last city on Earth, and there's lots of moral choices that come in as part of that, and just the whole premise of that seems really cool. So there's lots of stuff that I'm considering doing, but what I don't want to do is just go scattergun with it and start 5 new series in a week and have everyone really confused about what's going on, not sure what's happening. So I want to get a conversation going between all of us. Let me know down in the comments what sort of things you'd like to see me doing, what sort of things you don't want to see me doing, what you'd like to see as a YouTube series, what you'd like to see me do over on Twitch. We're just, yeah, give me some direction, because at the moment, for the first time since I started YouTube, I'm feeling a little bit lost with the whole thing, not really knowing what I want to do. I just know I want to do something a little bit different. whilst still doing Back in the Borough. I will keep emphasising that, Back in the Borough, not going away. And also the stuff we've talked about before St Albans. There's going to be St Albans content starting soon. I'm going to be going along to some pre-season friendlies. They're sorting me out of a season ticket. We are going to still have them as our team for the next football season, and I'm going to do a lot of real life match day vlog kind of stuff with them as a way of tying them into the start of the FM19 save when we get going. So my FM19 plans I'm really excited about. I'm loving my FM18 save, and I think that's why I've got this gap in the middle where there's nothing I can think of on FM18 that excites me as much as Back in the Borough is at the moment, or as the St Albans saves. The St Albans, I need to learn to say that word properly, or as the St Albans save is exciting me for FM19, and that, if I'm not excited, I don't want to just go through the motions because it comes across in the videos then. So I've waffled on for far longer than I planned to. So apologies for that. If you have made it through to the end, thank you very much for your ongoing support. Let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see, what you wouldn't like to see, and I'm going to go and sit and watch Fallout 4 download on Steam and probably fire it up and have a little look and decide if I actually want to start a series on it. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching, folks. Bye bye.